let's take it real soon. You know we got what you need, baby, so take it, move along. I said we got what you need, honey, come and groove along. Come on. Rolling on that highway, you know. Wow! Come on. And
Today I got so restless, I went driving towards the sea. I didn't plan my trip, I didn't pack a thing to be. Wasn't seeking solace, really didn't know what I might find. When you need a change of scene, you've got to leave it all behind, leave it all behind. The wheel I feel, nothing in my head but driving, see those rays. I'll make this up as I go along, I'm fine. I'm fine. I cast my cares on the wings of the first seagull that I see. Another incarnation before they return to me. We're all illusions, really, people try to count us all in the infinite scheme of all plans, and we're infinitely small. Leave it all behind. The wheel I feel, nothing in my head but driving, see those rays. I'll make this up as I go along, I'm fine. I'm fine. How about y'all?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Woohoo! Well, we welcome everyone that's here on site as well as those in YouTube land. And if you're watching on YouTube, just hit that little subscribe button so you can get notifications of when we're on again. Jubilee Circle is an interfaith spiritual community in Columbia, South Carolina. We desire to offer inspiration, affirmation, healing, and service through music, messages, and creative arts to inspire one to live abundantly, love wastefully, and awaken to our higher divine self. And this is our season of Via Negativa. Let me give you some announcements. We have a lot of things that are happening. Every Sunday, we have Soundy School at 10:30, which is a sound meditation right next door. That's here on site. We have our celebration on site or online. Next week, our speaker will be Holly E. Moore. Holly is an executive director of Cherry Hill Seminary, and she's going to present a glimpse into paganism, so that will be very fascinating. On the 29th, we have Poetry Church with Al Black and our own Tamara Miles. Afterwards, we'll have a potluck lunch and just have time to fellowship. On Wednesday nights, we have the discussion in Course of Miracles at 7:30. It's here on site, or you can Zoom in with us. You can check the website for more information on Zooming. On Friday, October 27th, who's got your spooky Halloween costume ready? Yes, Jesse, what are you going to be? Tell everybody. Zorro will be in the house. Oh. So deck out in your favorite costume and come join in the fun. And even though this is geared for adults, we are children friendly. We promise we'll let you take them back home with you. Bring a snack to share with everyone that night. On Friday, November the 3rd, we will start some more concerts. Ash Divine will be here. Tickets are $15, and snack will be provided. Bring your own bottle if you want to partake. On Friday, November the 10th at 7 o'clock, Chris Compton's going to be in concert. He's a local guy from here in Columbia, so come and let's support him. Tickets for that is $15. November the 18th, which is a Saturday at 7:30, the Midlands Light Opera is going to be with us again. Tickets are $20. Children under the age of 18 are $10. And then November the 30th, which is a Thursday, Al Black will be back doing some poetry reading that night. On November the 5th, it's a Sunday, we're finally going to do our distribution for treats for those on the street. After the service, I'm asking everybody to bring your own little snack lunch. We're not going to fill up and have a huge buffet. So everybody just bring your own little snack lunch, and then we'll go out into the community and we will distribute our bags of goodies to those who are on the street. We're actually teaming up with a feeding project that's already downtown. So they've already got the ball rolling. We're just going to jump in to help. Here at Jubilee Circle, we have a tradition of calling the 4 directions. And when we call the directions, we acknowledge the elements. We acknowledge the fire, the air, the water, and the earth. There is a correlation between the elements and our directions. The east is fire. The south is air. The west is water. And the north is earth. So I'm trying to share with you some of the things that we do here on a regular basis and the reason why we do things. You know, why do we present these and how does it correlate? So let's stand if you're able and let's face the east. Spirit who comes out of the east, we turn to you where the sun comes up, from where the power of light and refreshments come. Everything that is born comes up in this direction. The birth of babies, the birth of puppies, the birth of ideas, and the birth of friendship. Let there be light. Let the color of fresh rising in our life be glory to you. Quarter turn to the right and face the south. We are thankful for sending us all that is warm and gentle and refreshing. We ask you to give us a spirit of growth, of fertility, of gentleness. Caress us with cool breeze when days are hot. Give us seeds that the flower, the trees, and the fruits of the earth may grow. Give us warmth of good friendships. Send warmth and growth of your blessings. Quarter turn to the right, and we'll face the west. Where the sun goes down each day to come up the next, we turn to you in praise of sunsets and in thanksgiving for changes. You are the great colored sunset of the red west, which illuminates us. You are the powerful cycle which pulls us into transformation. We ask blessings of the sunset. Keep us open to life changes. Quarter turn to the right and face the north. We come to you and ask for strength and the power to bear what is cold and harsh in life. We come ready to receive the winds that truly can be overwhelming at times. Whatever is cold and uncertain in our life, we ask you to give us strength to bear it. Do not let the winds blow us away. We ask you for strength and for warmth. Back to the center. Lift us up to you that our hearts may worship you. May we have a grateful heart and remember we were created for a purpose, and in every point of our compass is a new adventure and a new lesson. And everyone said, oh yeah. The band's going to play, but before they do, we have a special reading.
I'm reading from the Contemporary English Version of the Bible. It is Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 8. Everything on earth has its own time and its own season. There is a time for birth and death, planting and reaping, for killing and healing, destroying and building, for crying and laughing, weeping and dancing, for throwing stones and gathering stones, embracing and parting. There is a time for finding and losing, keeping and giving, for tearing and sowing, listening and speaking. There is also a time for love and hate, for war and for peace.
One, two, three, four. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time for hate, a time of war, a time of peace. A time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow. A time of love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
go. There we go. Yeah. What? There we go. There we go. I have to adjust. Today we're delighted to have one of our Jubilee staff members, Camille Carpenter. You may not know this, but she's actually going to seminary, but we forgive her anyway.
I was a masochist at one point in my life.
There you go. There you go. And she'll be doing the readings for us and then the response afterwards. So, yes, I'm going to turn it over to her, but yes, the band has a song in between.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Julie. All right. Our first reading comes from the Old Testament, the book of Job, Job 19:25 through 27. I know that my Redeemer lives, and in that the end will stand on the earth, and after my skin has been destroyed, yet in my flesh I will see God. I myself will see him with my own eyes, and not another. How my heart yearns within me. Second reading comes from A Course in Miracles. You have no idea of the tremendous,
It's all right.
what the tremendous release and deep peace that comes from meeting yourself and your brothers totally without judgment. When you recognize what you are and what your brothers are, you will realize that judging in any way is without meaning. In fact, their meaning is lost to you precisely because you are judging them. All uncertainty comes from the belief that you are under the coercion of judgment. You do not need judgment to organize your life, and you certainly do not need it to organize yourself. In the presence of knowledge, all judgment is automatically suspended, and this is the process that enables recognition to replace perception.
These are wise and holy words. Thanks be to the holy. All creation is holy words. All creation speaks volumes of the holy. Hallelujah.
You can tell me there's no mystery, mystery. You can tell me there's no mystery. It's everywhere I turn. Moon over junkyard where the snow lies bright. Snow lies bright. Snow lies bright. Moon over junkyard where the snow lies bright. Can't set my heart to burn. To be forced to look the star-strewn space, star-strewn space, star-strewn space. Stood before the shaman with the star-strewn space. Behind your eyes in his face. Infinity always gives me vertigo, vertigo, rise gives me vertigo and fills me up with grace. And don't tell me there is no mystery, mystery, intoxicate. This feast of beauty can intoxicate, just like the finest wine. So all you stumblers who believe love rules, believe love rules, believe love rules. Come all you stumblers who believe love rules, stand up and let it shine. Stand up and let it shine.
So everyone, do me a favor. If you close your eyes and give me 3 deep breaths, okay? Close your eyes. Thank you. Okay. Uh-oh, don't tell me battery about to go out. Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you. I know in today's time it's kind of hard to, yeah, it's shorting. All right. Plan B. That is, it's hard to find time just to sit still and settle ourselves. But before I get today, occasionally when I have conversations with a friend, I tell them, before I go into what I'm about to talk about, I say, let me preface this. So let me preface this sermon real quick. One, though there may be some points in this sermon to where we could get intellectual with it, like I know we like to do here in Jubilee. I'm sorry. Like to do here in Jubilee. Apparently I have to eat this microphone in order to be heard. But this sermon today is really more of an encouragement than an intellectual exercise, an encouragement for our spirits, for our minds, just for our beings in general. And also, I'll preface this by saying that I am going totally on spirit energy today. However, the Spirit decides for this to go, because I did not really get a chance to get this sermon in me as much as I wanted to. But I do feel that the Spirit does have something to say today. So once again, thank you and welcome here to Jubilee today as I speak about embracing certainty in this time of Via Negativa. And I put a special emphasis on Via Negativa because one of the major themes of this season is learning and understanding the blessing that comes from walking into uncertainty and embracing it. This is a time where we allow ourselves with a sense of purpose and freedom to delve into the unattended and unknown parts of ourselves in order to find new evidence of the divine within ourselves. There's also a time where we once again remind ourselves that life, every single bit of it, is a mystery. And that within that mystery, we can find the peace to let life in ourselves to just be. To just be. Something that can be very hard to let our lives be and to let ourselves do. To just let things be. I mean, it sounds so simple. But if you're anything like me, it's only it is a lesson in discipline. In our busy, industrialized Western culture, we're striving for information, striving for money, striving for safety and security, striving, and more striving to ensure some sense of life satisfaction and to ensure something for posterity. And though we proceed in our striving with our own personal sense of hope, there goes that word. Bruce earlier said the magic word. What was it, Bruce? You forgot. Just messed up the whole thing. Hope. Hope. And though we proceed in our striving with our own personal sense of hope, in the back of our minds is always that question of what if? You know those pesky questions. We even have expressions for them, for the what if question in our culture, when we say things like waiting for the other shoe to drop, or in looking to a quote by author Meg Rosoff in her book, Just in Case, and I think this is like a wonderful quote here. She writes, "A piano might fall on your head," he said, "but it also might not. And in the meantime, you never know. Something nice might happen." I mean, if that just doesn't scream uncertainty, I don't know what does. That what if, that uncertainty, that proverbial thorn in this rose we call life. Thank you. Oh yeah, all right. I think we can all agree that there seems to be an innate dis-ease or uncomfortableness with the fact that life, and at times even our sense of personhood, is fraught with uncertainty. It is this uncomfortableness with uncertainty that has us in the 21st century become consumers, or maybe perhaps the more appropriate term is addicts of information. It is also why some will steadfastly cling to dogmatic religious proclamations as ultimate truth. The uncomfortableness of uncertainty can bring such trepidation to our souls and dissonance to our minds that we con ourselves into believing that certainty can be obtained by making idols out of both information and dogmatic proclamations. We've all done it. We've all been there when it comes to facing the unknownness or unknowingness of life. I didn't know which one I wanted to use, unknownness or unknowingness. I mean, tell me if this sounds familiar. You find a rash, a bump, or you have a weird ache somewhere on your body, and your curiosity is so stroked that if you want to let your imagination to get away from you, then you've already come up with a list of possible ailments and or diseases before you even made it over to the computer to type in www.webmd.com. And why? Because in our impatience, we have to come as close to certain as we can, as fast as we can, to find out about what may or may not be going on with our bodies. And by the way, WebMD only ever really worked for me after I went to the doctor and found out what really was going on with me. We just cannot take not knowing, not where it really matters the most. it's not in our human nature, for we tend to be very anxious creatures. When I was considering a religious text to speak from about how we as humans relate to and respond to this unknowingness we love to try to shield ourselves from, I considered good old Job. Now I know that this biblical story of Job is not only an overheard and overly used one, especially if he was raised in the church. You've probably been knowing this story since you was about 5 years old. but it's really not even a very happy story, not until the very end anyway. I mean, you know the story. You have Elohim and Hasatan. I like using the Hebrew names. Elohim and Hasatan making this weird, seemingly nonsensical cosmic bet on the righteousness of Job. In one swoop, Job loses his family, land and possessions, and his bodily health is taken from him. And Job, along with his friends, try to figure out why a man such as Job, who has walked righteously before God and man all his life, is now facing such calamity. And when, after much debate amongst Job's friends as to what Job did to have God bring such horror his way, Elohim finally appears and informs all of them that not one of them knows what they're talking about. And not only do they not know what they're talking about, but in essence tells them that their finite nature cannot compare to the infinite wisdom of the Almighty. That's it. That's the only response that they get. It is that God knows and sees beyond what any human can fathom. And in essence, this is the only fact that these men could ever put their trust in. Now, I don't know about you, but if I went through all that Job went through in this story, and if you haven't had the chance to read the story, don't read the King James Version. Then I'm going to need a whole lot of a heck more answers than I'm God and I just know more. As we see, there is an impending sense of uncertainty that looms over the majority of Job's tale, as not only does the religious and cultural wisdom of the day fail to yield any effective resolution for these men, but they would never truly know or understand the cause and the intention behind Job's plight. Even as us, the reader who is privy to more information than the characters in the story, we have little to no understanding as to why Elohim in his story chose the actions and intentions he did. And like Job, I'm sure many of us have experienced the anxiety that comes with wholeheartedly believing that if I did A, B, and C, then X, Y, and Z would happen. Only to realize that when you did A, B, and C, it only actually led to B, Z, 1, 8, A, 5, 2, 7. Nowhere in the neighborhood to where you thought you was going to be. What we find in Job is a man, though broken by circumstance, but bore the full weight of uncertainty and saw God. So what can this biblical story tell us in this time of via negativa about facing and embracing the uncertainty that is inherent in life? Well, one lesson, actually, that I believe is the most essential lesson, is that embracing uncertainty creates opportunities for us to recognize ways of being, doing, and believing that no longer suit us in our spiritual journeys. That coming face to face with uncertainty, embracing it, and perhaps maybe even befriending it, can greatly benefit us by helping us to let go of our idols, our false perceptions and egos and whatever else we try to cling to that reaffirms our need to know and to be in control. And instead be open to the possibilities of seeing ourselves, our lives, our world, and the divine and new and deeper and more compassionate ways. To embrace the unknownness of life, I think, is to say yes to the challenge of being a student of life instead of operating out of our ego self to try to control life. I know, easier said than done. Everything's always easier said than done. But if you're one who has embraced the spiritual life, then I think it is at least an important notion to consider, especially now, where it seems like the whole world has been flipped and dropped on its head ever since the pandemic. It's no secret that we are facing very uncertain times now more than ever. Not just for ourselves individually, but even in the communities in which we live, the world in which we inhabit, in the spiritual community in which we come to seek something of the divine within and outside of ourselves here at Jubilee. Well, to tell you the truth, according to Candace, it seems as though Jubilee Circle has always faced uncertain times. So here we are again. And wow, what timing it is. As we enter into a season that calls us into being okay with not knowing what exactly may lie ahead for this community. And to be okay with ourselves and with others, wherever we may find ourselves during this time of transition. To be okay with our emotions, our thoughts, and our ponderings, and our angst with the unfamiliarity of the present time. You see, the hope that we can find and cling to in the midst of the little and big unknowns of life, which, by the way, is the same hope that Job was able to find at the end of his plight, which, by the way, is the same hope the Via Negativa welcomes us into, is that when we allow ourselves to just be without judgment and need to control, to just be in the unknowing, then we can peacefully allow those things that no longer serve us to fall away. And either allow for the discovery of new strengths and capabilities and new yearnings that will lead us down new paths and new ways of being and doing. And or we will rediscover buried gems that need to be dusted off and utilized to carry on a vision and to reimagine a new one. We have to understand that embracing uncertainty is more than just being okay with and accepting the fact that you or we do not know what lies ahead. But it is the embracing of the very unknowingness of life. It means realizing the benefit of living in the hope of things. What's the magic word? Hope. Say it louder. Hope. All right. And in today's time, the word hope has become one of those watered down, flowery cliche words. But if we consider what the word means biblically, at least, then hope, but if we consider what the word means biblically, at least, then hope is the spark that initiates faith. So then if we all that I have presented here today, we must concede that, at least in part, that to embrace uncertainty is to embrace the possibilities of a new hope, then a new faith, then a new way of being. So I invite you all to embrace the uncertainty of these times, not just the uncertainty that we may face as individuals, or even here at Jubilee, but at the world at large. I invite you all to the Via Negativa, a time to be okay with your dis-ease about the things and the situations around you that you just don't know about, and to welcome the lessons this time seeks to teach us. Without this time of letting go and letting be, then we will find ourselves lacking the creative fuel for the next season ahead, the Via Creativa. As I was forming this sermon and pondering the concept of living in the hope, I was reminded of a story told by the author Anne Lamott, who one day after the funeral of a dear friend was walking away from the gravesite with the priest. And she asked the priest, "Do you think my friend is in heaven?" And the response to the priest was, "Well, the hope is that she is." She would later go on to say that this experience helped her to see that life and faith was about living in the hope, because in the end, that is truly all one really has. That is what she found out, and I believe that is what Job came to find when, after all he had faced, he was still able to proclaim that I know that my Redeemer lives. And if we are to be completely honest with ourselves, that's what we too come to find once we get on the other side of our uncertain situations. To this, Anne Lamott was able to understand, as she quotes, "Hope begins in the dark. The stubborn hope that if you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come. You wait and you watch and you work. You don't give up." Okay, and apparently, I lost the last page of my sermon, but that's okay. That's okay. So I just want to call y'all to just open up yourselves to just letting yourselves be, and letting whatever comes up be lessons to you to understand yourself and God and your spiritual journeys more. And as we say,
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Camille. Yes. Boy, lots to think about. Lots to think about during this time of meditation. Sometimes I think we're our worst enemy. We don't have to wait for Job's friends to show up, because we already have them inside us, and we need to work on that. We need to realize that everything is in the divine purpose. During this time of meditation, let's think about the words that Camille has given us, and also this affirmation: I am always ready for the inevitable changes that life brings. I am always ready for the inevitable changes that life brings. Now we have an opportunity to give. You can give of money, but you can also give of time and talents. Here at Jubilee Circle, we do have some opportunities that you can give of your time and talent. Jesse, pass this around for us. Nothing like a cheerful giver, right? We're looking for a drummer. We're looking for a keyboard player. We're looking for a hostess. We're looking for a greeter. So if you have those talents and those desires, message us through the website or see us here in person here at Jubilee. We would love to talk with you about helping out. There's many opportunities to give, not just with your money, but with your time and your talents. Okay, and as we close out this service, I want to thank you for being here with us today, and thank you again, Camille, for some awesome words. And thank you in YouTube land. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button to receive other notices of our messages. And as we close out the service, let's remember the words of Mr. Eckhart. I'll get it out. If the only prayer that you ever say is thank you, it will be enough. So everyone says, oh yeah, and we all say thank you. Now, as the band comes, may the light of God surround us, the love of God enfold us, the power of God protect us, the presence of God watch over us. Wherever we are, God is. Take it away, band.